Paltrocast. Good afternoon or good evening to you. It's good morning for me, but how's your day going besides having to do press and deal with the weather and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff?
I just had a really nice interview just before you for a magazine. And day is going well. I'm looking forward to going to New York. And my daughter's going to meet me. She's going to fly over from LA, so for the weekend. So that'll be nice. And yeah, it should be fun.
Awesome. Well, before I throw you compliment after compliment, thank you again for rescheduling this interview. This guy every now and then flakes, and he flaked today due to an emergency. So thank you again. That is on the record. Now,
Mm.
back to you in the book. As a person who taped interviews a long, long time ago, one of my COVID projects was digitizing some of my old interviews. And it was a struggle because I used to record on mini tapes. So
Mm.
finding the mini tape recorder that I could then digitize, it was not easy. In your
Right.
case, this new book, a lot of old interviews, did you have those tapes readily available?
Well, let me tell you a very sad story. And that is, I did those interviews between 1988 and 1990. And I carted all these cassette tapes around with me. And then I moved to England and different places. And I was so nervous of anybody stealing them. And I didn't know anybody personally who could send, when the time came, put them into MP3 so they're easier to sort of keep. So I just thought, well, I'm never going to use them again. And I don't want anyone to take them. And it would just be such a relief not looking after them if I destroyed them. So I destroyed one after the other in this mad frenzy, but kept 8. And I have no idea why I kept these 8, but I did. And then I found I had a friend who then actually could turn it into MP3. And so I transcribed these 8. So Joni Mitchell and George Harrison and Ringo and Eric Clapton, Ravi Shankar, Don
Mhm.
Henley, Graham Nash. Who else have I left out? And one other person I can't think of right now. Um, and so it was amazing. So I was listening to them for the first time in probably 35 years. And I tell you what, it was so moving. Just exactly what they were saying is so relevant and important. And, the creative spark is timeless.
Mhm. And this book, you were able to combine those older interviews and the ones that you revised by retranscribing with Atticus Ross and some
Yep.
newer talent.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in a way, you could say it's like Jenny's greatest hits.
Yeah.
It's a best of
I
in a
like
good
that.
way. It's old and it's new because it's interviews from the
Yeah.
80s and also interviews from today. When did
Yeah.
you know that you were done with the book?
Well, I was very happy that Atticus could do it, that Jacob Collier could do it, Sarah Warwick too, because hers was definitely showing how music has such a healing force about it too. And Egg White, because he's such a prolific writer, songwriter, and how he showed how different it is now compared to them. I was trying to get Phoebe Bridgers, and her mum had said, oh, she would just really be honored to do that. And but then turns out her manager, the team, which I'd never used to have to deal with, was a team.
Oh yeah.
Um, was yeah was no, she's too busy, which is a shame because she wanted to do it, but I was very grateful for the 4 that I have, because it really gave an idea of what the music world and how different it is today.
You raise a really good point, and I appreciate that honesty, where you are who you are, and you've been behind the scenes for decades upon decades. So at
Mm.
this point in your life, you know that busy is just a liar and excuse created by management because when you go to a gig, the artist is just needlessly pacing for hours before they go on stage.
Yeah.
They have nothing to do. They would
Yeah.
happily spew their words out to anybody than do nothing.
Right. I knew that, and you know why? And I said, okay, well, if she would like to do it, here's my phone number.
Yeah.
Kind of like well, whatever. But, you know, I think I might send the book to her mom.
Yeah.
In fact, yes, I will do that. And, you know, what I could do is send it, in fact, this could be off the record, I don't care. Send it with a little note saying, when we actually do the paperback and I want to get like a few more, I would still love her to do it, you know, something like that.
I think that should not be off the record because that shows what a hardworking person you are. And it teases the fact that we could be getting an expanded edition with more great content. Why deprive people of hope?
Well, exactly. And this is important stuff.
Yeah, so you are affirming what I'm saying. I had a book come out last month about David
Mhm.
Lee Roth from Van Halen, who I'm assuming you did not cross paths with. But
Mhm.
um, you kind of learn that writing a book is less than 20% writing a book. It's really 80% dealing with publishers, with
Mhm.
deadlines, with begging people to do you favors, etc. Or am I wrong?
Right, no, and transcribing and
Yes.
rewinding and transcribing, you know, I mean, it was intense. All pretty much all of last year was spent on this book, putting it
Right.
together. Yeah.
And that's without factoring in that you're traveling to New York in a couple of days to begin the whole media process of this whole thing. Now, going to a convention like that, you're going to tell the same stories in a way over and over and over again, and you're going to hear a lot of the same over and over and over again. But you don't strike me as a shy person like most authors are.
No, it's funny actually. I was talking to someone earlier today. It's like to be a writer, you have to be an introvert. I feel, but you can also be extrovert too. And I think the older I've got, the more I'm getting in touch with my extroverted part. Because actually, I'm going to love standing up there and telling them all about the book. You know, whereas probably um, 10 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to stand up because my knees would be quaking too much. And I would, you know, I just couldn't do it. I'd pass out or something. Um, but now I find that joyful. And I think it just changed, you know. I think a lot of it is because I feel I'm communicating with people, and I feel that connection is like one of the most important things to me. And you just look at these people, you look them in the eye, you know, one after the other, and it's so great because they're hearing what it is. And then when they answer questions, when they ask questions, that's brilliant, you know, it's wonderful because I want to tell the story. I want to show what it was like, and you know, that we all can be creative and you
Hmm.
know.
Well, for me, and if I can keep the compliments going, what I love about your book is its history about topics I really enjoy from somebody who's actually there.
Mm,
Meaning, a lot of people these days just pull what they know about the Beatles or Eric Clapton from Wikipedia, one
right.
shoddily unauthorized made documentary, and then forever they just take that and that's that.
Yeah.
They don't think of all the people who were in Eric Clapton's band for decades.
Right.
With George, a lot of people have the visual in their mind. They think of 1966 George. Then he's in the Traveling Wilburys. They don't think about the 2 decades in between the two, which you saw. So, for you, was there any hesitation in revisiting the past? Some people love the past more than others.
No, it was brilliant. It was wonderful. It's all so vivid to me. And what they were saying was just, you know, so moving, so touching, so inspiring, and their honesty was you know, it was fantastic. And I think it was good in as much as they knew that I was not one of them, but that I knew the rock and roll world. You know, having been married to Mick, having lived with all of Fleetwood Mac, having been to India and spending that whatever it was, 2 months with the Beatles and knowing
Yeah.
George, you know, all that stuff. They knew that I had history basically, but also that I had trained to be a counseling psychologist, so I had that ability to really listen. And I think, you know, if you feel someone's really listening to you, you open up,
Well
you
said
know.
right there.
Yeah.
I'm finding that when you talk to people who knew or were around the Beatles, they either have everything or they have nothing in terms of the physical items. When you speak to May Pang, who was lovely to me, she has everything.
Mhm.
In your case, do you have everything, or are you down to like two artifacts and that's that?
Um, no, I don't have. Oh, I do have something. I was just thinking. Yeah, in the days where there was fax machines, I got a fax that George wrote to me, and sending, what was it? Just sending love, and talking about Maharishi, and just this little fact, which is so frail now that it's almost not even there.
Right.
But for some reason, I have that amongst all my sort of funny little things that I keep. A lot of things I just throw away, because just would move around
Yeah,
so much.
you've been everywhere.
Yeah,
London, San Francisco, right? Los Angeles, New
yeah.
York. Did you add a New York period?
I didn't know, but I spent a lot of time in New York, back and forth, with on the road and stuff, and then all around America on the road, in different parts of London, or then the countryside, or just a lot of moving. I think we grew up moving all the time, and it just
Kenya.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. There you go. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I say the fact that you even have one artifact is pretty incredible.
yeah, pretty good, isn't it? Yeah.
So going back to what you said, we might get a deluxe or expanded edition if we're lucky. Is there anything else that you're working on, or are you able to sit back and you're not worried about how to fill your time?
No, it's kind of sitting back, but there's a lot of work making sure different people got the book. I'd also really like to interview Rick Rubin. Um, that would be very cool. So, already I'm kind of thinking at some point I would like to do a few more interviews. But at the moment, there's a lot of work kind of with kind of promoting the book.
Hmm.
And when it comes out in the States, excuse me, um, I think I am going to the States for a month in July. So we're already thinking about doing like a little book. I don't know, something for fun, really, in one of the bookstores there.
Wow. Well, I'll give you this info offline. If you're looking
Mm.
to come to Long Beach, New York, Long Island, where Rick Rubin is originally from, and do a
Oh,
library event, I'll connect you with the team over there. So
really? So
simple
where
as
is
that.
that? So Long Island.
Yeah, it's a town on Long Island called Long Beach, where Billy Crystal grew up and Rick Rubin grew up. Joan Jett lives here. Uh,
Yeah,
the first Beastie Boys video was made here. Just random things happened in this town. And
right.
authors, including myself, do events there every now and then.
Really.
But back to you, the last two questions before I let you go. Uh, the first one, you have seen more concerts in your life than anybody that I know. But what's the last concert that you went to for fun, for enjoyment?
Oh, they're all enjoying. Was Graham Nash. I saw him just in Covent Garden, just near where I live. Just walked around to this lovely theatre. And it was the first one because my husband couldn't come with me. He was already going out to dinner with someone. And then my friend was going to come with me, then she couldn't. So I thought, I'll go by myself. I'd never done that before. And so I walked there, had a lovely seat and right by the stage. And Graham was with two other musicians. One, I can't remember what their names were, but the harmonies were so beautiful. And it was a complete joy actually just being by myself because I didn't have to talk. I could just concentrate on watching it and just really just letting it soak in. I love all the CSN stuff anyway, and Graham
Yeah,
was brilliant. Yeah, that was my last one. That wasn't that long ago.
he's still sounding great. Very few people keep their voice for decades. Graham Nash still sounds like Graham Nash,
Really
which is
does.
great.
Yeah, yeah.
And the
Before that, I think it was 2023. Yeah, it must have been. Jacob Collier. They gave me tickets to go and see him in Bristol, and he was just amazing, incredible.
and he's
I
in your
mean, his
book.
energy, he's a genius. Yeah.
And the last question is, what I know about you, when I read the bio, when I read the books, etc., and I say books because I did cover the previous book. Okay, I know your upbringing, the Kenya, the traveling around. Then we know, okay, Mick and interviewing the people and the PhD. But what's the number two passion outside of helping people and music? Do you have any dumb hobbies? Are you, for example, you follow sports? What do you
No,
do
I
outside of?
love to walk. I love to walk. I love to walk in nature. You know, walking I love. I love to dance, but I don't dance enough. I need, either in front of the dog or the cat or something.
Sure.
But dancing I think is wonderful. And then I do go to this singing group, which is fun because I would never have sung. And luckily, we all sing together in harmonies and stuff. So I do that too, and that's very joyful. Um, what else? Just hanging out with family and friends, and that sort of thing.
Paltrocast.